to welcome each of you to ENG 5998 Writing Grad Papers. And I have created a very brief slideshow that I'd like to take you through, which will explain the course, what it's about, how it's graded, attendance policies, and all of that good stuff. So I want to begin by talking about ENG 5998 as similar to the Oxford University in England's tutorial style. So ENG 5998 is different from most of your courses at FSU because it really is a design your own writing course. And in part it's based on the Oxford tutorial model. The Oxford tutorial model is essentially designed around the belief that students learn the most when they get to interact one-on-one with others, particularly with their faculty members. So at Oxford University in England, students meet individually with their faculty tutor on a weekly basis. The student brings their materials to the tutorial. They read before they come, they take notes, they research, they may draft an essay or some other kind of writing assignment, and they think about questions that they're going to want to ask their tutor. And so they come to their appointment having done quite a bit of work beforehand. And then the tutor's goal is really to talk with the student about their ideas. And so the tutor is interested in having the student explain what they think, to question them, to push their thinking a little bit, to troubleshoot any areas where the logic may not be accurate. Just generally, the tutor's goal is to help the student clarify their thinking. So FSU's ENG 5998 is similar to that, because you will come once a week, twice a week, or 3 times a week, depending on how many credit hours you've signed up for, to meet with your tutor. So if you are enrolled in 1 credit hour, you will come 1 hour a week. You can divide that time up into 2 30-minute chunks if you'd like, or do the whole hour all together. If you are in 2 credit hours, then you're going to come twice a week. Ideally, you will meet with the same tutor, but if you can't find a tutor whose schedule works with yours on both days, you can sign up with 2 different tutors. If you're coming 3 times a week, if you're in 3 credit hours, you'll come 3 times a week, and again, you want the same tutor if possible, but if not, you can mix it up between 2 or 3 different ones. Only 1 hour can be scheduled on any given day. So if you're in 2 credit hours, you can't do your 2 hours all at once. You would need to split those 2 hours up over 2 different days. The reason is the expectation is that after you meet with your tutor, you will go and revise and work on your work and then bring it back for the next appointment. Also, 2 hours of one-to-one tutoring at once is way too much. So we require all students who use the Writing Center to only come up to 1 hour a day. So like the Oxford model, for this class, it's really up to the student to prepare for your tutorial. So you're going to do all of this work beforehand. You're going to read, you're going to bring your notes. You might need to do some research. If you're writing a short story or a poem, or you're working on creative work, or you're working on a dissertation, that's fine, but you're going to want to bring the work that you're working on. And you want to bring questions that you want to ask your tutor. So you want to have a sense of, here's this work that I've done. Here's where I'm at, here's where I don't know quite what direction I want to go, or here are questions that I have about how I've organized this. So it's really up to you to bring not only work, but sort of an agenda for your session. The tutor's goal is to talk with you, the student, about your ideas as they're presented in writing in order to help clarify your thinking. In addition, the tutor or tutors at the Writing Center, our goal is to provide a practice audience before you decide to share your writing with your major professor, or with a journal that you're trying to send an article to, or with, not sure where else you would be sending your writing, but you would want to have a sense or have an understanding of what your reader might think before you send it to them. And so the tutors in the Writing Center are there to provide you with that. They're there to sort of say, here's what I'm thinking as a reader. Is this what you wanted to communicate? So the tutor will expect you to bring all of your materials to the tutorial, and we will also expect the student to be able to state your goals. So the tutor will really expect you to have your stuff and to know exactly what you want to get out of it. We will also expect you to leave each session with a plan for what you're going to accomplish before your next session. So you and your tutor might work that out, that you're going to do these 3 things before the next session. And then when you come to your next session, the tutor will expect that you would have done those things. So it's not only showing up to the session with work, but it's also showing your tutor that you've made progress between your appointments. So the class is essentially graded on attendance and participation. So students can miss 1 week's worth of appointments for unexcused absences. So if you are in 1 credit hour, you could miss 1 hour of your appointment for the whole summer C session. If you're in 2 credits, you could miss 2 hours, and if you're in 3 credits, you can miss 3 hours. Those are all unexcused absences. If it's an excused absence, I require that you provide me documentation. So you would have to give this to me, Dr. Wells, either a doctor's note, or if you're presenting at a conference, I'm going to need the program showing the date of your presentation. If you're traveling for athletics, I'll need the official travel letter. We do not allow students to make up missed hours unless it's for excused absences. So if you've provided the documentation, then we can work to schedule a makeup hour for you. However, if there are multiple excused absence requests, then I may not accept those. So there's a limit to how many excused absences you can have as well. This is especially important in summer C because it's 6 weeks and it goes very quickly. So the class is graded SU, satisfactory or unsatisfactory. In order to receive a satisfactory grade, you have to be prepared for every session, and that includes completing the work that you plan to complete at the end of the previous session. And as I just said, you have to attend all your appointments as they are scheduled, and if you have to miss an appointment, you're not going to miss more than 1 week's worth if it's unexcused. If it's excused, then you'll probably need to make that up. So here's some frequently asked questions that come up about this class. People like to know that, they want to know if they can change their appointments week to week. Can they change their appointment times? And we discourage that because this is a class and we expect that once you commit to coming to a certain time, that's when you're going to come. Also, the benefit of this class is that you meet with the same tutor or tutors throughout the whole class. So if you're changing scheduled times and you're changing your tutors up too much, you lose that benefit of continuity. So we allow that you can change your appointment times once. So if you set them up initially and you feel like, oh no, this doesn't work with my schedule, you can change it. If you meet with a tutor and you feel like you might not click with that tutor, that's fine. We can find you another tutor as long as it works within your schedule. But after that, after changing once for either of those things, we'd really like you to stick with your appointments. Can you use some of your appointment time to write independently? Your tutor and you may discuss that, okay, for 10 minutes you're going to work on this paragraph, or for 15 minutes you're going to revise this section, and I'm going to keep checking in on you. But the goal of this session is to be interactive. It's not for you to come in and sit by yourself and write and have your tutor sort of sitting somewhere else by themselves. The goal is to have a conversation. So while there may be times where you and your tutor agree that it would be good for you to do a little bit of writing on your own, please don't expect to be able to write independently for the whole session. And can my tutor proofread or help line edit my papers? So writing center tutors are not trained to be professional editors. They don't have the editing knowledge, and they don't have the grammar knowledge necessary that a professional editor would have. So they will be able to tell you when something they read is unclear, but they're not necessarily going to be able to explain the rule behind it, but they will also expect you to be able to revise it on your own. And if you don't know how to fix the error, then you and your tutor might give you a model, they might look up a solution on in a grammar book, but they're not necessarily going to be able to tell you exactly how to fix it or exactly why it's wrong. So sometimes students will ask their tutor to read over their paper line by line. Like the student and the tutor will sit there and the tutor will read every sentence in the paper out loud, one line by one line. When that is done, in order for the tutor to be able to fix the errors on the paper, then that's where we draw the line. So asking a tutor to read your paper line by line to correct mistakes for you is not acceptable in the Writing Center, and we do maintain a list of editors who are much more qualified to do that than the Writing Center tutors are. So if you're really looking for that kind of close editing, we're happy to give you those names. All right, so that's the whole orientation. I've sent this to you in an email, but once you've completed the orientation, I need you to go to this Google form and sign the course contract. After signing the contract, you can schedule your appointments using our online scheduler. This is especially good if you've done this class before, if you know how to use the scheduler. If this is your first time taking this class or your first time really using the Writing Center, then we really recommend that you visit the Writing Center in Johnston in person, and then a tutor can help you and they can walk you through it. And so that's it. This is a great class. It really comes down to what you bring to it. If you really do your work and come prepared and have a lot of questions and are willing to, do the things the tutor asks you to do, you will have a really wonderful experience. Any questions, please email me, Dr. Wells, and I will see you in the Writing Center.